we're here. We spent 2 days with Coach Andy, our Tom Ferry coach, going over the whole NAR settlement, the changes that are happening in our industry, and how to better prepare our agents for everything that is coming in the near future. It's obviously a shift in how we do business. So talking about unique value propositions, just positioning ourselves as agents to our clients and customers in a better, more impactful way. So tell us a little bit about you so the audience can just have a better grasp of you. Sure. And some context there before we dive in deeper.
Well, the short version is I grew up in a real estate family, 25 years, just under 25 years in the business. But I grew up, my standing line is I'm an SOB, son of a broker. And I grew up in the business since I was a little kid. I was around it, but got licensed just under 25 years ago and was an agent first, and found my love for leadership about 7 or 8 years into my career, and found my way eventually into running a 500 agent company. And I had done the branch manager thing, I'd done the training, I'd done the coaching for the companies. Everything I didn't do was, I did every job, I should say, except for the finance department. So I did it all, and I had the pleasure of running a company, and it was in that season that I was always a part of the TF ecosystem as a client, and was at a retreat. One of the early team retreats was in Santa Barbara, and one of the head coaches of Team said, "Would you consider coaching?" And at first I said, "I don't think I can, because I got this job. I don't think I can do it." And then I later learned, no, you want to do that, because then you get to be a part of Tom's ecosystem, his inner circle. And they were absolutely right. And so I just coached a couple of people early in the morning and got to be a CEO and leader throughout the day. And it kept me sharp. It kept me connected. And when I left that gig, it was easy to walk away and say, "Okay, Tom, I want to coach some more. I really want to get my entrepreneurial side back." And so today I coach a couple dozen teams across the country, and I have another business that is in the consulting space, in the affiliated side of real estate brokerages, bringing them title and escrow and mortgage and insurance inside of real estate teams and brokerages. So
I think so what I think our audience maybe probably want to understand, or we should speak to, why does someone like ourselves get a coach like you, and what is the relationship like, and what is the benefit for us? Obviously we run a large team. I think, for us it was a no-brainer to try to find, some way to get information that we don't see here, right? Miami is like living in a third world country. We're like in an island. We're totally, I know you don't like that. It's okay. It's the wild, wild west of real estate here, but we were so hungry for information. I think that's how we kind of found our way into Tom Ferry world. But can you speak to that a little bit about?
I think the answer for some is because they want training. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, especially with a guy at your level, there's not much new under the sun that you can be taught, but there is a lot of spitballing and thinking through, and you're in your business every single day, grinding, and to be able to have that, hey, let's pull up to 30,000 feet together and start looking down and work on the business together. And I can think back, even Mike, before you were in leadership, just the one-on-one conversations that you and I had, and it was a spitball session. It was, hey, here's what's going on. What do you think? Or do you have anybody going through this? And I'm not the guy that has all the answers, but I'm really connected and can provide a little different perspective. Sure, I've got some experiences of my own and things like that, but from a neutral third party, to be able to provide some guidance and perspective, it's just that iron sharpening iron for you.
Yes, that's the best way. And it sounds like it should make sense for most agents to get a coach, right? Every athlete has a coach still, no matter how good you are, no matter if you're the best in the world, but for whatever reason, it's not the most common thing to do, especially in Miami. It is rare or strange.
Yeah. I mean, I think we benefit from it a lot because you coach a lot of other people. So, we don't know what we don't know, but you're coaching similar teams, right? Seeing their challenges, their problems. I think that's where I feel like our team really gets the benefit of, you're coaching me and Mike, and then we're disseminating that information to the team as needed be. And I think that's probably half the business. And the other part of it is sort of coaching on how to run the team and build the team and grow. Yeah. And I think for me particularly, the perspective that you get by having these conversations. So you told me you coach you're having 30 conversations a week with team leaders all over the country that do things totally different, but everybody has a thing, right? And it allows us to get a look at all these other ideas that we would necessarily not find ourselves, I think.
Yeah, you tapped into the connected part. That part, I think, is our biggest value of being in the world with you. Like, the fact that you're so connected.
You're reminding me of a conversation. I have a client in the Virginia marketplace, and the guy is very experienced. He's got a resume that, he's been in the business longer than me, and that's not what this is about, right? He goes, I'm asking you to coach me because I know what your experience is. I really want to be connected in this ecosystem, but I just need somebody that can go, have you thought about this? Have you looked at this? Let's take a look at your P&L this month. Let's take a look and see what the numbers look like in this area. Have you thought about, I want to connect you to this person because this is what they're doing. There's not like a golden child of a team that I want to help you guys be like them. There's components of that one, and there's there's stuff that you guys are doing on a regular basis that I'm sharing with other teams. And so there's always a give and take. You don't get that when you're on your island and you're in the trenches all the time. It's just going to provide you a place to go, I want to process that with Coach. How many times do you say that? Hey, we got 3 things we want to talk to you about this week. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the comfort of having somebody to run things by, right? Sometimes we're 95% sure, right? But we need that little 5% boost to get us over the finish line. And I think, because people ask me all the time, like, what do you talk about? You talk to them 52 times a year, basically, right? We talk once a week. Right. But it never seems like we have a hard time figuring out what to talk about. I mean, there's always a new challenge, or certainly we're on the growth mindset, so we're pushing the envelope always and trying to find new avenues to grow. And I find we certainly don't ever have a lack of things to talk about.
Well, and even the way that you, your versatility, I think from both of our perspectives, you guys said back to me in April, hey, would you consider coming out and just using our time and speak to the agents? And I'm like, this is, what we did in the last day and a half is, I love it. It's getting back to my roots, and it's being able to also help you guys be better leaders hereafter because of some of the connections, because of some of the things I saw, some of the personality styles that are in the room. And, you don't get that thumb on the pulse of what you have going on unless you do something like this. So it's, kudos to you guys for thinking outside of the box.
I think for our team.
And also thinking for your agents, not just always for yourself.
For our team, really, to get the most benefit out of the coaching, like obviously we hear what you say, and half the time you're coaching us on running the business and half the time on, how to help the agents grow their business. But, I don't think most coaches, or most people being coached really, the coach doesn't get to know the team. We're a large team. We have 40 people. By now you probably have 30 of them in your Rolodex of memory. You've met them already multiple times coming here. It surely helps you, and it helps us in our dynamic, probably knowing the characters, right? Knowing the cast of characters that we're working with, which is what I really appreciate about you taking the time to fly here and be with us. And I know the team got so much out of the last 2 days of, just being able to ask questions of you, right? And we just had lunch and we were just talking about how when we say something to the team, they hear it one way, right? And it's just like when you're trying to coach your own kid in sports, they don't listen to you. We all know that. So then all of a sudden you come in the room and you're saying the exact same thing, and they're all eating it up, and we're like, what is going on here? Right? And I think that's a huge benefit of having the coach in the room, and now hopefully on Zooms and things like that, where you can deliver the message that we want, but somehow it's received differently. So.
And it's important to not two things. It's one, to get connected to the fact that it's okay to say, okay, we need you to say this to me. And number two, it's okay to let go of the fact that you've said it 1,000 times and they heard it for the first time when I said it. It doesn't make because I said it differently or masterfully. It's just human nature, and it's the way we work. oh my gosh, that was a great idea. And you're all irritated, not to say that you do this, but you're all irritated because I've been saying that to you for 1,000 times and now you hear it?
Yeah, everyone's guilty of that.
Sounds like parenting to me.
Yes. Why do you think it is? Because I always struggle with this concept of coaching in our business. A lot of people don't work. We talk about it all the time. Like, they're not working on the business. They're just constantly just running in this hamster wheel of real estate. But they're not looking to grow it into scaling it. Like, why do you think there is that in this industry more than other? I don't know, even know if the question makes sense, but I just think in my head, our business fails at growing businesses. They just sell real estate. But not very few people. And the reason I think the ecosystem is so powerful is because we get to talk to people who are doing what we are trying to do all over the place and putting us in those rooms.
Yeah.
But there's not that many rooms in our industry. I don't know. Like,
Well, I don't think it's isolated to the real estate industry. I think that what you just described is human nature in general. If you look across any industry, you have business owners and business leaders and you have employees. And the opportunity that you guys have to create a great team exists because some people, one, want to belong to something bigger. That's just their nature, is to be a part of a team. Or two, they don't see themselves in being a business leader and doing all of the, what I call plate spinning that you've got to do behind the scenes. And then maybe the last thing I would add is the real estate business is a challenging one to be on your own and to spin all those plates and to still be good at all of them at the same time. What you guys have provided and what most teams that do this well have provided is an opportunity for an agent to be front and center with the customer more of the time. So I think I would unpack that more simply to say this. If I was speaking to an agent of why should I join a team like the Riley Smith Group versus stay as a solo agent, it's we could free you up to find people to go on appointments with and go on more appointments. And all of the other logistics like you're doing now, from marketing to CRM management to technology to transaction management to even deal doctoring and the legal side, staying on your thumb on the pulse of regulations and bringing in a trainer to teach people instead of having to do all that on your own, you could actually produce significantly more, meet with a lot more people, provide a higher level of service to a customer. I believe this firmly, on a team rather than on your own as a solo agent.
I mean, you don't have to sell me on it. Like, I think
on a team from day one. Yeah.
But you ask the question of like, why do you not see more businesses starting out of the real estate? But I think there's a lot of people that get into the real estate industry thinking that they want to be a realtor, not necessarily thinking I want to be a business owner.
Right. And I like to think like that we're entrepreneurs. We all are entrepreneurs, really, right? We all run our own business, but so few look at it that way, right? It's almost, I think, looked at as a job. And I think, and that's where the agents, in my opinion, they struggle, is because they just, it's just, okay, wake up in the morning, what do I got going? And then it's just rinse and repeat. And they're never really learning the concepts of running a business, right? And even thinking about it that way. It's just from one deal to the next deal to the next deal. And I think when you get into the coaching world and you start to see all these,
opens your eyes.
Opens your eyes to how you can actually create a business where you don't have to be there at every second and do everything.
Yeah.
And
you remember that, in our careers, we've been in the business similar amount of time, that first conference that you may have gone to and you had that contrast, right? That person that they talked about on stage and your mouth drops when you're like, how many transactions?
We still do that. We still do that.
There was an individual, I remember, in Southern California, I can't remember the name, but I was at Tom Ferry's dad. I was part of their ecosystem back in the day, and there was an individual talked about from stage, no fluff, met them, they were on stage later, that was over 800 transactions a year. And I'm like,
exactly.
How? Yeah. How do they do that?
And that's how my team was born. I was at a Keller Williams conference. They dragged somebody up on stage, and they're like, "Yeah, we might do 800 or 1,000 deals this year." And I was like, "What? Like, how is that?" I did 40, and I thought I was really kicking butt, right, in Miami, because we're so volume focused, not deal focused here. And then thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. His average price point, he has to do 1,000 because his average price point is 300,000. Yeah. what if I do 1,000 deals here in Miami?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And that's where this whole team started, and that's what led us to coaching and, like trying to leverage and figure out how do we do 1,000 deals in this market, at a $1.82 million price point.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Absolutely.
So
Well, you guys in our ecosystem, you guys are asking me a lot of questions about my perspective and from what I get to connect to in other teams. You don't know necessarily of what I say about you.
Okay.
And you don't know necessarily that I get a chance to, to brag on the stuff that you guys are working on. And so maybe you hear it a little bit and maybe what they might reshare back with you. But the number one thing that I'm taking away from the day and a half of being in front of your agents, and your agent, Anna Kwan, asked me this brilliant question this morning. She goes, so what is it like having worked with us? We're almost, 3 years together?
Yeah, just
now,
about
right?
3 years now, yeah.
I was asking Mike if he was going to get me an anniversary present. What is it like having worked with us for 3 years and seeing the growth? Mm-hmm. And I just looked at her and I was like, I love the fact first that you thought of asking me that question. Yeah. It just says so much about you, Anna, as a person.
Yeah. Well, she's grown so much.
So I had a chance to tell her that. I said, I got a chance to tour your office yesterday, and I remember your office when it was in the house office.
One little desk is big.
Exactly. And now to see it, I said, I'm so proud of you, because then it grew to you and your sons, and now it's grown to a couple more agents, and you're doing a team within the team and leveraging what RSG is about. It's awesome. But I had a chance to tell her, I said, it's this environment, being back around, even, I was here like 15 months ago, and seeing the growth. It's not about, what some people would brag about. Oh, we've grown from 15 to 37 agents or whatever. You guys need to hear from my perspective. The culture inside your team is contagious. It is so healthy. It was a treat, a joy to be. Maybe it was because the Kool-Aid that we passed out yesterday morning before we got started. You want to give more of that. Apparently, I was giving out secret Kool-Aid. But it was the engagement of your experienced agents to your newer agents. It was the fearlessness of your newer agents to the ability that they were standing in front of the room, role playing and practicing their value propositions and getting help at their tables. But I say all that to say, guys, that doesn't happen unless you guys model it. Yeah. That doesn't happen unless you guys have done something, whether you've done it by accident or you've done it by intention. I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I mean, your environment's everything. That is what trickles into everyone who's surrounded by you. And we, from day one, have always said, who is in the room matters, and who we allow in the room is even more important than really, at the core of selling real estate, how much real estate you sell. Yes, that's what we're here to do, but we don't want to do it with people we don't like and love, and people that we are excited for. But
you made a strategic move, and we've talked about it, in some of our calls. You made a strategic move with a key staff person that I think is a significant component of how this culture piece is strong. It's sticky. It's fun to be around.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I think we're excited that we have, given Rosie the opportunity to become, director of culture, right? Because when you ask anybody on a team, surely, what are the 3 reasons you're here? Yeah. Everyone will say culture number 1. And I think that's what keeps our agents here, right? Our retention rate is unbelievable. Nobody leaves. Everybody's here. They're engaged. They're even looking for other agents to bring into the culture. And I think, from day one, I always thought real estate was a very lonely place to be on your own. And I thought, how do we make it more fun, make it more exciting? And then over time, and part of it is by accident, for sure, but over time, we've been so much more intentional on developing a culture where everybody wants to help each other, right? And be collaborative. Because I think we were starving for collaboration. I was anyway. I always wanted collaboration, and it just didn't exist in our market. And so we just created it, right? And now you see it in the last, 36 hours that you're here, how our best agent is helping our brand new agent, and how our brand new agent is actually helping our best agent.
Yeah. And that's an evolution within
it's
itself.
Wild to watch happen, and I think, we also just have a lot of fun, right? And real estate, I think you need some fun because it is tough, especially these last 18 months. I think that's where the culture piece really shines when you're in a hard market, right? And there's not a moment when someone on the team doesn't need to pick me up. They need a little encouragement or something. And it's not even just us doing it, although Rosie does a great job of that. It's the other agents doing it, recognizing it, helping them out, throwing them a bone, giving them an opportunity or helping out some way. I think,
Have you guys talked on previous podcasts about the cheetah?
Briefly, we actually no, with Anthony we talked about it briefly.
A little bit about it, but it is.
Because I think that when we were at breakfast yesterday, right?
Right.
We was it breakfast yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was breakfast. Yep.
And we were joking about how your phone wouldn't load.
Yes, exactly.
But we were at breakfast and he was going, we got a cheetah, and I'm like, you got a what?
What?
Yeah, we don't say
looking around going, what is going on
we
here?
don't say we got deals. We say we got a cheetah.
You got a cheetah, and then he goes, and then he's on the phone because he saw something come through. He's on the phone, and he goes, yeah, there's a cheetah coming through. And I'm like, okay, tell me the story here. And you told me the backstory, but I'm like, that's a part of just a part. It is not the thing.
Yeah.
It is a part of your culture. And then you hear it.
Yeah.
Here we are yesterday, and in your room is full, and we're working on value propositions and practicing them and working through, what's your evidence for what you do that you do well, and somebody's like, I got a cheetah, and it's so fun to watch the
so
go.
infectious, right? Everybody. Yeah. I mean, so obviously you guys watching don't necessarily know what that is, but so it's so hard to have success in this business that we really thought we wanted to make a way to celebrate the successes. So we have a tradition here where whenever somebody actually puts something on a contract, we send out an email to the whole team. We're almost 40 agents strong, just sort of celebrating that. And the meme that we use is a running cheetah. We had changed it over the years, but we've landed on the cheetah, and it has really resonated with us. It's become our thing, right?
It is our spirit animal.
It's our spirit animal, absolutely. And and people want to get a cheetah. Like, it's a thing. They want to be recognized, and they enjoy
There's one on the wall in the office, right?
One on the wall in the office. And, and the beautiful thing that happens is we send out this email, and, we have an internal work chat that everybody's on. And within minutes of the email going out to the team, everybody is blowing them up. Everybody's making them feel good. Congratulations. Way to go. How about that? Like, it's infectious, right? And the crazy part is that everybody wants to give praise. Everybody wants to give a shout out to them. Because when they get one, they want the same thing in return.
And it's so interesting because it's like you could easily say, we got a new transaction, so-and-so got a new transaction. It doesn't have anywhere near
right. That doesn't sound exciting, right?
You put a cheetah to it, and I saw it. So he gets the cheetah and says, this question mark is where the cheetah would be.
Yes, my phone did.
But then while I was looking at that, I'm seeing on the top of his phone message after message after message, and it was Anthony first. He's popping up.
The top producer is congratulating a brand new agent on our team.
Everybody wants it too, no matter if they've sold 100 deals or 0 deals. Everybody wants it.
It's just one component of, like you said. I mean, I think we do a lot of things, but that is a really fun component. And I think that's what you don't get when you're on your own, right? You have little wins, but nobody's patting you on the back. Nobody's pushing you. Nobody's giving you that moment in the sun like you get on a team.
Unless you're a top producer.
Right. That's it. But the average agents, I mean, they're just that's just a normal Tuesday, and then they got to keep on going. And I think taking a minute to celebrate what is very hard in this business, especially right now, is really cool. And seeing just how everybody celebrates. That's the beauty of the team. Everybody celebrates everybody's success, which is, I think, unique.
And genuinely happy.
Yeah, genuinely happy for you.
Everyone wants everyone to do good.
I mean, there's a little jealousy sometimes, and there's a little competitiveness sometimes,
it's more
which is, I think, we enjoy having that, right? We enjoy having, hey, I want one. When's my turn, right?
It pushes people to go do what they maybe need to do to get their own deal done.
The other thing I get a chance to brag about on you, well, actually, I would say this differently. It's less of me bragging on you. It's more of what you're known for, Riley, and it's interesting that it's their perception, because I'll get asked this question like, hey coach, can you help me understand how Riley's so good at geographic farming? And for those of you watching, geographic farming is a fancy way of saying marketing to a neighborhood or marketing into a community. Your geography and your farming, you're cultivating opportunities in business in that area. And I found myself saying, when people ask me about it, the challenge, whoever's asking me, I said, the challenge is, it's not one thing.
No, it's not.
It's not a magic pill. It's his name, it's his goodwill, it's the number of years that he's been in the marketplace, it's the number of transactions, it's his reputation, it's the fact that he lives there. Oh, by the way, he drives a golf cart through the area. He has his name on bus stops and image on bus stops all over the community. It's a lot. It's not just like, I send this postcard on the third week of every month and I do this for 18 months straight. Now I got this market share.
The lasagna effect.
There
There's
is
layers.
no magic pill to what
Touching
you've done.
10 different ways, right?
I'm sure that you've got people that you run into in the industry, even outside of our coaching ecosystem, that go, how do I do this farming thing?
Always. Right, yeah.
Oh, here, spend this budget. This is all you got to do. It doesn't work like that.
That's what they want, right? What is the secret sauce to make it happen tomorrow, right? And
I think I want to speak to it because from the outside, well, now I'm in the in, but like what he does on a day-to-day basis, everything is catered around the farm, and there's an intentionality to him going to breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
And him
at the same place
Street Cafe?
over time. Yes.
Street Cafe. We're putting another asterisk.
Shout out to Green Streets.
But there's a face and a personality. Like, he is actually personable to every single person in the community, and that's why the community accepts him as being the person for the community. It's not a postcard where they've never had a conversation with this person or they've never even said a word. Like, people feel like they know him, even if, I don't want to say it, but even if he doesn't necessarily personally know every single person, people say hi to him and he goes, you don't have lunch with Riley and not say hi 3 times from strangers. And that's the real effect of the growth.
I think the dogs even stop and say hi to Riley.
They know it.
Yeah, but it's all looks like it's effortless and seamless and just kind of happens, but it's years of intentionality. It's literally years of eating breakfast at the same place where the moms are coming after drop up, then the business breakfast people are rolling in, and the people in the community all come through that same spot. Yeah. So it's not an accident that I'm there every day, literally every day
And
for
you're
years.
talking to everybody.
Or it's not an accident that we're doing our event here, right, at the yacht club, where 4 of the people on the patio today are my past clients because I'm here over and over and over and invested. And I think that's what people miss in the farming, right? It's not about the mailer. Although the mailer is a key component, right? But it's, like you said, it's the sign, it's the mailer, it's the bus bench, it's the golf cart, it's me walking down the street, it's me, knowing everybody in my farm, caring about them, right? We're invested in the charities here, in the schools. It's all of that and 10 years down the road, right? Yeah. And it's not tomorrow, but you got to start. And that's the, and starting is hard for a lot of people.
And it's really interesting for me that, you guys you're doing this not to line your pockets. You're doing this really to benefit the agents on there's a lot of teams that I work with that the leader is the top producer. Yep. And, I hate to say it, but it's more of a hero and their minions. Sure. And you've done this I know you were the top producer for many, many years, but now it's a different season.
For a long time, yeah.
And your agents are getting these as referrals. And now as your coach, I'm watching you guys with an initiative to significantly ramp up what you're doing online and attracting more customers, potential customers in an online campaign. And it's the same thing that we were just talking about. You're going to have success with what you guys are doing online because of everything you've built offline. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Riley Smith group is what's going to happen. Or like you've already said, you guys are already, what are we, less than 60 days in, you've already had 4 listings taken with the and you're not even doing a listing seller attraction campaign. You're just it's an online campaign. And to have that, I wasn't surprised because of what you're doing over here offline. It's like they complement each other. Greasing the skids of what you've got over here. Yeah. They complement.
I think we have the social proof of we know what we're doing in this area, in this part of town, right? And now it's just the online is just attracting more people to that and showing them that. But
if you have so I bring that up though because you have people that are going to say, "What's he doing online and how does that work?" You've got to understand, it's a lot. It's not just one piece.
Right.
You can't
just
go
starting out online on your own,
right? And recreate it.
No.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Well, every agent wants the short-term gratification, and farming
1000%.
is real estate alone that's not like that you don't get no short-term gratification, but farming's even more of a long-term play. And I tell all of our agents, oh yeah, I'm going to send this postcard. Like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the purpose? Are you going to do this for the next 12 months? And then if you are going to do it, what else? Because if you're not doing at least 2 to 3 things with the postcard, waste of time, waste of money completely. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
No one's looking at your just sold card and say, that's the person I need to buy the next or sell my next apartment with. It's just not it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a plan behind it and you're not going to, have a long-term.
Well, in the same token, though, that postcard in your hands with the RSG name and brand on it is going to have a completely different impact that if that agent was on their own doing it by themselves with their own brand, because there's just no goodwill and tenure in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, if we go back a second and look at what you talked about, is how the team is composed and what is our mission in terms of the team, right? Most teams in South Florida and most teams across the country are driven out of, here's the agent in the middle, and they have their support and their minions, as you call it, and they're helping the agent. And we've sort of taken the opposite approach, right? We want to put you, the agent, in the middle, and we want to surround you by a strong team leader, or strong marketing, transaction help, videographer help, get to have access to coaching, get some mentorship, and now we're bringing in the leads component, so that, you said it earlier today, all you have to do is go out and sell, right? And I think giving you back time is the most precious thing that we can give. And I think that's where we're like fanatical about what can we take off of an agent's plate to give them the opportunity to just go sell. Mm-hmm. And I think that's attracting agents that are coming in, and they do see, yes, that I have this farm, and we're having more conversations about building their farms. Mm-hmm. And they're coming to get some mentorship and learn as well, which you don't get out there.
Well, and I don't have this perspective as fresh as you guys do, but this market is really challenging to break into.
Yes.
And so, in a lot of my markets, so what happens is an agent will join a team because it's a hard business to break into. They'll join a team because of the barrier to entry. They'll also join a team because of leads.
Yeah.
And when I look at this team, that's not necessarily what we've always been about, but if you look at the sales and the proof in the pudding, the social proof here, a lot of the transactions that have happened amongst the team have been, you've got a guy that called or a gal that called or somebody came on a sign looking for you, and what do? Yeah, they're the best person for you. Right, I trust them. They're going to be the right person for you in this job. That is not easy, Riley. It's easy to attract somebody that says, I want to join your team and be a part of this because of how you're going to bring me leads or how much you're going to break this barrier to entry. But to have leadership then turn around and train them in such a way that goes, I trust you. You got this. Yep. And to have them deliver to the customer.
Yes. Right. And which is probably the biggest challenge most team leaders have, right?
Yes.
That most team leaders are control freaks. Most team leaders think it has to be me. I'm the only one that can do this. I'm the only one that they can trust, right? And that comes because you don't invest in your people enough and you don't build them up enough, right? I feel comfortable handing off, a client to anybody on my team because I know, who we brought in and how we've taught them to do the business, and that use of leverage is where you start to grow a business. Yeah. Right? You get away from a job and now you have a business. So if I need to go on vacation for a while and reset, I know the team's going to be able to handle anybody that comes in, and they're going to get white glove, great service, as we've been talking about for a while, and the same or even better maybe service than if they got me.
Yeah. So how does that feel? Cool. Standing in the back of the room yesterday, watching, the fruit of your labor, if you will.
Yeah.
Like literally in some cases be better than you.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Oh, I mean, for me, it feels amazing. I've always, like you, my background, I've been in sports my whole life. I was coaching. So now I'm not maybe coaching like you are exactly, but the mentorship and the coaching, for lack of a better word, that's what gets me excited every day. I just had this conversation with somebody earlier today where, I love real estate, and real estate has been amazing for us and given us a great life. But I love that I now have the ability to take the thing that I love and that I know how to do so well and change other people's lives and watch it happen. Yeah. And you mentioned Anna Kwan, just watching someone like Anna come on our team 5 years ago and coming from this world of REO and short sales and just running and not having a business. Yeah. and wake up 5 years later with, you know, her boys now on her team, having an assistant, having agents working on her team, and now she's going to get on a plane and go away for 3 weeks, and it's going to run. Like, that is cool. That gives me chills. Like, you know, like, teaching people how to create a business is what I really want to do in this space, in what I know and what I love. And that's become much more of our focus, and much more of what really gets me up in the morning, gets me excited to go to work, is helping them, you know, and it doesn't have to be as high level as Anna, even just helping younger, newer agents get their feet wet and, you know, not make the mistakes that we all made on our own. That's what's cool about this business.
So when you guys are, you know, at this kind of like critical mass, like you got a great size team, marketplace, I'm sure you're a market share leader. You guys have got a pretty good perspective on who's going to make it, what it's going to take to be able to make it. What are you looking for in an agent now? Like, because I remember this conversation we had probably a year and a half ago. What is the avatar of who is a good fit for the RSG, Riley Smith Group team? And I know you guys have had enough experience of seeing who's going to come in and work, and you know, some people still, even though we might have good perspective, they interview
they interview
a whole
great.
lot better than they actually behave.
Of course.
Right? They're
of course.
really good at selling themselves on their motivation and then just not following through. But what are you guys looking for in that avatar now?
I think the biggest
What do you know that it takes to make it?
I think this will always be true for me, is just a mindset alone. Like, you have to come in with the right mindset, and understanding mindset of what is required to sell. I think, and to have success in this business, I think a lot of people, they do multiple things. They join a team because they think we say this all the time, that people think that we have this magic pill or this magic sauce, that they're going to join a team and we're going to teach you how to sell without doing anything. No. I guess what, you have to do a lot of work, but we're here to push you to do the work that maybe nobody else, when you're on your own or in other scenarios, is telling you to do. And I think that's the unique part about being in a team. So we want people that are hungry and want people that want to grow a real business, not rely on us giving you business. I think.
Okay, so they've got to be hungry, motivated. How do you discern through that? Because you got, you know, who are you not going to interview that isn't going to say, "Oh, I'm motivated"? Come on, really?
It is probably the hardest part of it, right? Because the things that we look for are hungry, humble, and kind. Like, I want good people, right? That's
what our culture is.
That's what our culture is so good, right? We bring in good people. Start with that. We can teach you a lot, and then you've got to be humble, because that's just how I feel. Like, I mean, I don't know how to do anything else differently. The hunger piece is the hardest piece to figure out. Right, and I think it starts with us when we're interviewing and talking to people. It's, you know, one, we don't take part-time agents. I think that's a thing. This, you know, you need to be full-time, because we all know this is to make a business here, and that's, if you're not trying to, like, we're not looking for people who are coming in here to stay status quo. Like, we don't want you that. If you just want to do what you're doing, then you need to be doing that on your own. We want the people who've hit the wall, they're stumbling, but they're hungry to go for something bigger. Trying to find out that in the interview process, you know, how much they're working, what they're working on, even if they're doing things that maybe we know don't work, that gives us some insight into their willingness to try things. Are they coachable? Are they, you know?
I think during an interview, like, when I speak to agents, and like when they start asking me questions, or they start asking about certain things, where like I start to get excited, because I can see their mind is already working in a way where they want more. They're hungry for it. They just don't know where it is or how to get it and stuff like that. That's when I really see, like, oh, like, you know, we could have something here.
And especially in a market like this, right? And you see half the room in the last 2 days wearing their word of the year is work shirt, and all the things that we put into that. And I had a conversation with a newer agent that just joined us, Jessica, who we talked about yesterday. Like, she had a perception of me, because she knows me from social circles and the schools, of, you know, hey, he's the shorts and flip-flops and laid-back guy riding in his golf cart. And then she was like, when I came to the interview and when I joined the team, it was like work. Like, she didn't, you know, have that perception that that's what it takes. And that's what I've done, you know, although it looks a little different. You know, I'm generally one of the first people in the office, generally one of the last people to leave.
Big perception.
And the perception.
Misperception.
Right. You know, so finding those people, like, that's what we identify. Like, are you willing to do the work? You know, and we can teach you the rest, but we can't teach you that. You know, we talk about this in our business all day long. You could take the horse to water, you could take the agent right to the edge, but man, sometimes you have to dunk their head in there to really get it going. And I think in Miami, it's so challenging. 65,000 agents. And our price points are so good that so many agents can do a few deals a year and be comfortable and be happy, right? So really weeding through all that and find the ones that they're not comfortable being comfortable. They want more. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. Like, they don't know what they want. They don't know what they're missing. They just know I need something else. And I think lately that's what we're attracting, right? Then, and they're seeing us as possibly a place where we can, they can learn that, And I think having the coaching is a huge part of it.
And just our image, the power of the internet and social media and stuff like that. We're now in a position where we can put who we really are and what we're about to the masses and such, with our
I think we owe you a lot of credit for that. Like, you've been pushing us to be so much better on social about who we are and what we do, right? And I think that, led to us, really getting away from Kelly doing the marketing, bringing Amanda doing the marketing, and then getting Alonzo on board and, the video, there's nothing like those video messages get out there. And I think that was a piece that we were missing, and that's one of the reasons why you do coaching, is because we thought we were doing great in all aspects, but there's always room for improvement in things.
This is the other reason why coaches beat their head against the wall, is when they tell, how long did it take? A year?
Several. Year and a half. Well, it took 3 years to get to where we're doing right now. It took at least a year and a half to get to there. Yes. So the patience of a coach is important.
We get stopped
and
now.
And you also, as a coach, don't stop bringing it up.
No, you have to, right?
But how many times I was like, hey, you know what he's gonna say, right? Like,
right before the call, we know.
Let's not bring this up this week.
All the time. We're like,
all the time. He's like, well, you know what he's gonna say. Well, do we really want to hear that right now? No.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay, change the subject.
But that goes back to why everybody needs a coach. I don't care how successful you are. It's been proven in history. Like, you need not just ideas and things, you need some accountability. You need some of that, right?
Keep bringing it
up. Yeah, and it's without calling you a certain name. It's saying, hey, you have a limiting belief about.
You're missing opportunities. Is what you were trying to tell us. Is you're missing opportunities by not doing the social proof and doing it at a different level than we were doing at it. And Alonzo's been here 4, 5, 6 months now, and it is completely different. I'm walking around conferences. I was at a conference the other day. People I have never met in my life all over the country are like, man, you're killing it on social. I'm seeing you here. I'm loving what you're doing. I get a text or a call almost every day. Yeah, every conference. So there is a drastic difference that we've seen, mostly because of you pushing us in that direction just in the last 6 months, which has helped bring in more clients for our agents and also attract more agents that want to join us.
But also going back to just the whole reason why people get into it. Admittedly, we have naturally been resistant to a lot of things that you have brought up to us for 1,000 times, but 1,001 time, for whatever reason, it sounded really good.
It sounds really good.
And here we are starting to dive into things that we thought we would never.
But I think we also, as a group,
you guys aren't afraid to try.
And I think as a group, we have had sort of a bit of a mindset change, right? I have been fanatical about trying to grow my business every year, and I have every year but one gone forward and reached new numbers and all that stuff, but at a very incremental rate, right? And at some point, there was a mind shift change of growth and what does growth look like, and how do we bring some new energy around growing. And since we've started this journey, which is to try to double our business from last year and double it again next year. Now more than ever, we're in a space where we are all of a sudden, what got you here is not going to get you there. Yeah. And we're so hungry for learning different things that we can bring into the business, which is why we're now receptive, right? And it goes to that mindset. The mindset change of wanting to grow bigger, faster.
But what's interesting about where you guys are in that, you have the pieces in place to where the new shiny penny is going to be your detriment. Yeah. You've heard me say this before, and now we're entering into the season of do less better, not more worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to focus on the things that you guys really do well, do them a lot, and you're going to hit your goals. Yeah. You consider the recipe that you have for an agent onboarding and getting them successful and getting them productive. You have all the components. You have the CRM, you have the leads, you have the training, you have the accountability. You have the culture.
Yeah. What does Tom Ferry say? Right? Run the play that works.
Yeah, you guys
Run
have
the
it.
ball.
But
Run it over and
but
over and over
in a
again.
growth mindset, it's easy to go squirrel, and I saw that, and I go after it. Now you're decimated.
I can so quickly see both of us like that sounds really great. Let's keep trying that.
I mean, I'm really guilty of that, right? I'm a
Don't
huge.
make me call your wife,
I'm a
because it's
huge.
time to
like I am. I'm a, you know. I mean, those who know me, like I just did a video about this yesterday. Like I'm a huge wanting to get more knowledge, right? Reading a book a week, listening to a podcast, and probably to Mike's detriment and the team's. Every Monday, I walk up in the meeting with 5 brilliant ideas, right? And you know they'll say you can't chase 5 rabbits, you're going to catch none, right? And
Good.
so you've been helpful in
honing it in.
honing it in.
But it does give
But it brings energy.
And internally,
And I think
we're
that's what we
always staying on our toes because we're always internally, mindset-wise, always pushing for more too. Now, yes, there's a fine line and a balance between, we have a solid framework. Like, let's just push this harder, faster, better, instead of keep throwing things in that may put a wrench into it. But as a mentality-wise, and we're always working, it does push us, and it always keeps us fresh. Because doing the same thing over and over can get a little sometimes boring. I mean, for me at least.
You've got a good, right now where you guys are, you've got a good 12 to 18 months of newness, of stuff to work on and implement and go deep and really execute at a higher level. There's going to be different lead sources. There's going to be different ways that the new landscape is going to change the way we attract business. Heck, even the way the whole telephone prospecting rules are changing this year is going to change the way people market. And for that matter, need more of a team like yours because of that aggregate.
But
you guys are producing.
I think just seeing where the team is now and its energy, and you got to see it full force yesterday, I think part of it is because all of a sudden we've kind of raised the bar, right? And they see us saying, hey, we don't want to just sell a little more than we sold last year. We don't want to get a little better, right? We want to get a lot better. We want to create the best team. We want to be the team, right? We raise that bar, and all of a sudden they're excited to raise the bar. Anthony, our top producer, has said for me forever, like he's known my goal is to get to $1 billion by 2025. I've had that as a goal for almost 10 years. And I met him 4 years ago, and him and I had breakfast the other day, and he's like, I want to be a part of that. I want to, so it means I've got to do X to help us hit that number, right? And if we hit that number and keep going, it's like you're raising up the ceiling for the team, and they fill in underneath it, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, we just look at our numbers so far this year, and we're up a substantial amount from last year. And if we look at the widespread of like sales of our agents, like we have so many new top producers that are filling into the top group that we haven't had in the last, and that's been a hard group to tap into for us in the last 5 years. And now we have probably so far this year, probably 4 or 5 new people. Like, it's crazy. It
is crazy. But if you ask me, what do we attribute it to? Not much. We're bringing some new things that will pay benefits next year, right, to help us hit the goal. We've only implemented a mindset change. That's really the only thing that's happened, is that everything we do, everything we talk about, is this going to help us hit the goal that is this crazy, big, hairy, audacious goal. And I think because we talk about that and we think about that, the agents are all looking at that. Like, okay, I'm a $3 million producer. In Riley's world, I need to get to a 10 to help him get there. I got to get to 20. I got to double my business.
I don't even belong on this team.
If he can double his business and talk about that, I have to, the only way we double our business, because I don't do that much anymore as solo, is they have to double their business. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, if he thinks we can do it, we can do it. And that's the biggest shift that we've had, is literally the mindset of looking at everything that we do now. Is this going to help us double the business? And just seeing the agents go, wow, okay. It's how they look at it now.
But it's not, I guess it could all be bundled into mindset, but you've communicated an expectation.
Yes.
You've communicated that, like, if you're going to be here, we're a $10 million a year agent.
Or die trying.
Or
as we say.
Agent type team.
Yes, right.
There's not a lot of teams across the country that can say that. Now, I get it. You got a great market for that.
Yeah, we do.
But to say, this is who we are.
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge shift in that mindset.
I mean, it's why our Word of the Years work. It's why, like, it all stems into everything we, as far as messaging going out to the world. It's there for the taking. We have the social proof that it's so doable and it's possible. It's just a matter of like whether you believe it and if you're willing to put in the time.
And how we communicate with them and encourage them, right? I just see a different light bulb go off in them when they're historically doing 5 million, and I come and sit down, hey, listen, I need you to do 10.
Yeah.
And I believe that you can do 10. And that alone is really powerful for an agent, right? Just because, like we said, it's lonely, it's everything. All of a sudden, someone else believes in you, someone else, and you see that they believe so passionately about it.
For you, and they have your
That's
back.
what we're seeing them. Okay, and some of my agents, when I sit down with them, like, no, I can do more than 10. I can do 15, and that's what gets me like jazzed. Like, because if we hit our goals, their lives are all changed.
So speak to the gal that's watching this in another market that goes, yeah, but they're in a market where their average sales price is $1 million to $2 million, That's easy for them to hit 10. And then you get into the Miami market to discover how difficult a transaction is, let alone $2 million. I mean, and you guys are doing some that are 3, 5, 30 million.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I would say to those people is one, understanding what is the real estate landscape here, right? We have 65,000 agents. This is by far the largest board in America.
Yeah.
Probably in the world, if I had to guess.
You guys in Houston.
Yeah, right? And so that automatically means, it is a lot harder for us, each agent, to sell 20, 30, 40 deals that you see in a lot of parts of the other country. I think also when you say, oh, your price point, but in my experience, as your price point increases, so there's a level of difficulty of bringing a transaction together. More sophisticated clients, more people. They both have lawyers. They both have financial advisors. They both have, there's just so much more goes into bringing these people together.
And managing a transaction.
Yeah. And then you look at Miami, and we're so multicultural in how we do things. I mean, we're one of the only places where the average listing comes on the market 20% overpriced, because we believe in, and then gets to 10 and then sells 10 off that. Like, so because of this negotiation thing, so our landscape is so different. You don't just come to market at 500,000 and sell at 498.
Yeah.
You come to the market at 5, you're probably going to sell at 4, 6 months from now. And we have to show our own properties. We don't have lock boxes. So there is a lot more that goes on to being successful in Miami than in some of the other markets. But I think people look at us like, yeah, well, in that price point, I would kill it too. But those price points come.
It's easy at that price point.
Yeah, it's
There's
easy.
A lot more to it.
There is so much more to it, and the complication and the amount of different people that you have to navigate is really challenging.
And it's just more limited too. I mean, the higher you
guys
get,
And there's just less buyers that can operate in that place, right?
I don't have a statistic for this, but I just have an intuition on it. You guys have a lot more fallout.
A lot more fallout.
You guys have a lot more fallout comparatively, meaning middle of transaction, things canceling on 14th
Last
grade.
18 months especially, I mean, historically, just looking at what we do, we've never seen anything like it. I mean, it is, because you start from a place that's so far apart. Your buyers are stretched with their interest rates and their buying power. Your sellers are still, they're wealthy enough to be empowered to stay.
Limited
And
inventory.
so the amount of work it takes to get them together, both sides, every step of the way, starting to get more animosity towards each other, and like, I'm compromising, and no, I'm compromising, and no, and you get it there, and then you're living on a knife's edge, right? Any little hiccup now in this market, not like COVID where that didn't happen. Now, the inspection goes sideways a little, the appraisal goes sideways a little, any little thing triggers this, and so that's where our agents are making their money right there at that moment. Like, we talk about it, getting it under contract is great, getting it closed is a whole nother story. And it takes a whole nother skill set and patience and, all of that. And I think that's what people don't understand in the other markets that, anyway.